Matthew Gifford.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Gifford long ago had a conviction out of this court and also something out of circuit court that stemmed from the same unfortunate time period involving now his wife, and then they had 3 children from 14 on down, 14 to 9. And
But there are 4 kids.
The fourth child is not mine.
Correct. I got that, but they still have 4.
He attended an expungement fair that legal services was sponsoring, and had, with their assistance, been able to prepare a petition. Legal services asked me to volunteer to show up at the end in case there was anything that caused confusion or difficulty. I don't see anything along those lines. His wife wrote a letter that I provided to you. That one.
The judge is introduced to a case rooted in old convictions, but the tone is already shifting away from punishment toward rehabilitation. The defendant's past is acknowledged briefly, yet the focus is on how he rebuilt his life. Legal services role signals a structured effort for expungement. A quick mention of the wife's letter and a courtroom laugh lightens the mood, but the judge's comment about ancient history clearly sets a forgiving direction, hinting that this case is more about growth than guilt.
Is not just to you.
I know, so I didn't even read it. I said I'm not going to commit a felony by reading Judge Slay's email. So,
And let's be faithful saying it's the dates with always behind them. It's ancient history, and to his credit, Mr. Gifford told me that he's used this whole episode as a teaching moment with his children. We didn't need to tell them where we were going today about this and the existence of this, but he chose to share with them how when he was a young man, he messed up and cleaning up now and don't do what I did. And so I think this is one of those good occasions. We meet the qualifications. I think that his behavior and the circumstances of this case and his wife's position on it do warrant the court exercising its discretion by granting this request for subside.
is there anything you want to say?
He said a lot for me. It was good.
Mr. Malkoff is good about that.
She was finally behind me. With the matter of having to report this, let's say, to not discharge for work purposes, but every time I go apply for a new job, I have to tell the story, tell what happened. It is embarrassing. I am glad that I can try to show my children how not to do what I did, but very much like to have this inside.
Well, I'll say this. You're doing something right if your wife is willing to write you a letter like this. All right, that's one thing. All right. But also what I think is interesting in it, she acknowledges that you guys, as you were growing up, weren't, or you were just young, right? And just did, I think she said young and dumb. I would hope that, or young and stupid. She used the word stupid. And that you've since gotten past that and are raising kids and doing all of those things. And most importantly, after all those times, she doesn't talk about it in the sense of, please do this for my husband. What she says, which I think is important, her use of words, that you deserve it. Which there are a lot of wives out there that aren't going to say that about their husband, right? Okay. So I think that that's good. What kinds of work do you do?
So I went from mowing at the time of when I had charges against me. I moved to a fertilizer company and since worked for software that they used.
Okay.
So tech work.
Okay. Interesting.
It was definitely a jump.
What'd you say?
It was definitely a jump.
That's got to appreciate that. An opportunity having been given for the Attorney General and the prosecuting official to contest this application, and they're being done. The court, upon hearing the allocution of counsel and the defendant, do believe that the circumstances, behavior of the applicant from the date of the applicant's convictions to the filing of this application do warrant setting aside these convictions, and the court does believe it is consistent with justice and the public welfare. For the application is approved. I've signed the order. Congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I have it. I do. But I would, Mr. Malkoff, it is a pleasure seeing you. I haven't seen you in a while.
True to my claim when I told you I was going to go home.
That what? Yes, you did. You did. I didn't believe.
I think it was magistrate Fink's retirement. He said, "You'll be back."
Yes, you will, because you were and I don't hesitate to say this, one of the best lawyers I've known.
Thanks, Judge. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care, sir. Court does call the case, People versus Wardell Davis.
Your Honor, Robin Ford, P63057, on behalf of Mr. Wardell Davis. We have submitted an application for convictions.
Yes. And I have on here 3, I think.
Yes, 3, and we would like the court to be aware, I do have a letter from the AG that at the time of this situation, because we did not have a commercial license, this is not involving a commercial vehicle, one was injured. And so, and I also reviewed the other statute dealing with the marijuana. We believe he meets all the criteria to have his conviction set aside. Just by a little bit of background, he went to Ypsilanti High School, is currently working to complete his BA in communications, minor social work at EMU. He is gainfully employed with the packaging company Smurfett West. That's 1.4. He has an 18-year-old son, is raised and just started college. He has a valid driver's license. He said that this conviction and others have hindered him from employment. He's trying to get a job with Washington County Sheriff's Department. He said that he has done volunteer activity coaching, Little League Braves. He's known in the community. His father is a retired teacher. Actually, I met him when I was teaching over at EMU, and his father reached out to me to recruit me to come help his son get his record cleared up. He said his father is really impressed on him to right and wrong and setting an example for the younger people, and so that's part of why we're here today.
All right. Davis, anything you want to tell me?
Last time I was in court here, working in a good experience. It's more.
It wasn't a good experience? Was it something I did?
No.
Okay. Yeah, okay, all right. Just check.
I just wanted to let the court know that I am looking for redemption. I believe in change. I believe in second chances. And I'm asking the court to give me that and understand that I have changed. From when this happened, I was in a bad place. Losing my mother. And also just trying to deal with the separation of family. When the matriarch passes, family tends to splinter, go their own way. So I was dealing with that by myself. Anyone who has lost a loved one knows how that feels. It's hard. It's hard. So I've talked to my dad many, many nights. Convinced me to continue my education at EMU, which I am. I am on track to graduate spring of 2027.
All right.
These charges are the black eye on my history because they're not who I am as a man. There are mistakes made by me, but I want to correct them. And I want to move forward, but I also, most importantly, want to set an example for my son and the younger kids, and allowing them to see and understand that mistakes will be made, but that doesn't define you as a person. What defines you as a person is what you do to correct those mistakes. That's what I mean.
All right. You were a coach?
I'm an assistant volunteer coach for the Little Big Braves, which is a football
Yeah.
in Ypsilanti. I came up through that system, very proud of it.
Oh.
Played Ypsilanti High School. Graduated in 1991 with honors. Went on to EMU to play football there under Jim Hartman when he was there.
Yeah.
Also Ron Cooper.
So you're just gonna leave all that out, huh?
But I wanted to, let you know, because when you open the folder, it doesn't tell my story.
That's it.
Or to understand that I'm not what you see or read, I'm sorry, in that vanilla folder. It's a whole lot more to me. And, like I said, this is me trying to redeem myself.
There may be a lot of judges that look at defining people by what's in this file. I know after all these years that that's not how people are. And it's amazing to me because the greatest thing for me in this job is some years later when I may run into one of the people that I sentenced or stood before me, and I get to hear what they're now doing. Because that tells you it doesn't just end with this. And this isn't how somebody's defined. And people can either take what happens here, stop their life, continue on a certain bad path if that's what they want to do, or they turn around and they start beginning to do the right things. And quite frankly, they have a harder challenge in doing the right things than most people that don't have this, because you're fighting against this, both externally and internally within you, because you got to change your definition of who you are, right? Okay. So you graduate in 2027.
2027, finally.
And then you'll get a degree in what?
Communications is my major. Social work is my minor. I have been trying to seek employment with Washington County, whether it's with the Youth Detention Center or here at the jail. I will continue to try to seek employment, but again, I need the courts to help me with that.
I think if anybody gives you the time and just listens to you like I have today, I don't think that should be an issue, quite frankly, in my opinion. But, I don't rule the world anymore, though, do I? No. Okay. I had to give that up. Anyway. All right. Well, that's fantastic. So I'm going to have to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to check into something and I'll explain why in a moment. But an opportunity haven't been given for the Attorney General and the Washington County Prosecutor to contest this application, and there being none. The court does believe that the circumstances and behavior of the applicant from the date of the applicant's convictions to the filing of the application do warrant setting aside the convictions and is consistent with the public welfare and justice. And therefore, I will grant.
This segment becomes the emotional core of the case, where Wardell Davis opens up about his past struggles, family breakdown, and personal transformation. He doesn't deny mistakes but reframes them as lessons that shaped his present life. The judge listens closely as he describes education goals, employment, and coaching involvement, building a narrative of responsibility. The tension rises when the defendant admits how the convictions affected his identity, yet insists he is no longer that person. The judge then delivers a powerful reflection on how people are not defined by their files but by their actions moving forward. This shifts the courtroom energy from evaluation to belief, ending with the judge leaning toward granting relief.
The petition, I'm going to have to do this in two ways, and then I'll have my staff check on it. I will grant the petition as to count 1 and 2. The driving while license suspended from 2, well,
Is it this you fear because of the marijuana?
no. Well, I don't know what hang on. I don't know what count 3 was. So, well, I'm going to do it this way. Oh, I can find out from here. I'll grant the petition as to count 1, the possession of marijuana, and as to the driving while license suspended, count 2. We have it that the registration plate charge, which is not listed on here, because you have 2 driving while license suspended. So as to all 3 of those charges, I think I will grant the petition. I have 3 charges in case ending in 1735. I will grant it as to 2 of those, which I think are the 2 that are on here, because count 3 had already been set aside by MSP, the court. So I'm going to grant it in that fashion. We'll straighten out the order to make sure that we have that. And if we got to get the other file, which I think we do,
I'll take a look.
I'll grant it as to that file also, although not called today. Okay? So we'll do it that way. You're welcome, sir. Take care of yourself. All right.
Have a great day. It was good seeing you.
I will have a great day. I don't know about them. Thank you, Ms. Coy. Court does call the case. People versus Wardell Smith. No. Why do I have this one up there? This is my. Why is this up here? Court calls the case. People versus Jessica Janicki. Oops. They here? Jessica Janicki? This is an expungement?
To reinstate.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Yes, they are. You have an objection or no? You probably have an objection, but
She got noticed.
I'm going to order that the conviction be reinstated at this time. And if she wishes to object at a later time, she can certainly follow. But I'll order it reinstated.
Thank you.
Court calls the cases of the People versus Michael Zeller. 2 cases. Ending, 200942 and 961572. Hello.
I am an attorney in my opinion, but 55390, but full disclosure, I'm actually appearing here more so as his wife today, so I don't want to leave this in there. He's followed.
You want to know what? No, I figured it out from the last name. I knew there was going to be some connection, but no, go ahead. That's fine.
He has filed an application to set aside and some convictions that people 1996 and 2000. And what inspired this, I guess she was saying, his mother passed away.
The final segment shifts from legal argument to deeply human reflection, as the courtroom transforms into a space of shared life experience. The conversation about past convictions, aging, and family history brings out a lighter but meaningful tone. The defendant's desire to clear his record is met with understanding, while humor and personal remarks soften the atmosphere. Ultimately, the judge grants the petitions, confirming the legal resolution. But the real impact comes after, when the judge reflects on his career and past students, emphasizing how people evolve over time. This closing moment reinforces the idea that justice is not only about records, but about recognizing human growth and change.
Last year, she had custody of her grandchild who is now living with a father. We've applied for co-guardianship, in case anything happens to him. He is older and his convictions came out during the application process, something he's wanted to address. We just haven't done that. And this kind of inspired us to do this now. He's a changed person from 20 plus years ago. These things have been one of these cases was before I met him, one happened shortly after we met. Back then he was young and dumb to your brother.
Have both of those disappeared or just one of them? Oh, never mind. You don't have to. Most. Okay. All right.
Behaved himself. Driving record. Speeding is slightly better than mine. He will tell you he's a much better driver than I am, and he's not been involved in any shenanigans. But I'm aware of 28 plus years now. No one since 2000.
All right. You want to try to follow that or anything you want to know? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to say, sir?
I just want to get these convictions off my record and they're so old with them and I'm old. So,
No, you're not old.
we're
Pardon?
getting the body shop, painting cars and bumping for 34 years.
No, well, it's an admirable profession now. That yeah.
So,
So one was before and one was after you met him. So what? You didn't have enough time to calm him down before?
No, he was a work in progress. They feel them. Well, kind of. They keep them in his proper place. Let's just say that. There are no delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, understood. All right. In reviewing the petitions, well, we've got the order kind of filled out. I've got to have these completely filled out, but that's okay. We can take care of it afterwards. An opportunity in both of these cases having been given for the Attorney General and the prosecuting official to contest the application, and having heard none, the court does believe that the circumstances and behavior of the defendant from the date of the applicant's convictions to the filing of his application do warrant setting aside the convictions and is consistent with justice and the public welfare. Therefore, the petitions are hereby granted in both matters. Congratulations. Thank you.
To tell you, I work with Olga Yermolenko and
How is Olga doing?
my partner in the pro violation. So we work.
Is she? Did she tell you our history going back? She was. I used to have a number of different interns because I taught at Cooley, and she was 1 year behind. So I brought. This is how I usually am so accustomed to making decisions, but this is when I couldn't. All of the students showed up that applied to be an intern with me. And there were 10, and I had, I think, 5 slots. And I looked at all of the students, and I couldn't say no. So I took 10 interns. And I mean, it was a blast, actually, just having all of those students and that energy around. Olga happened to be in that group. The thing is, my criteria was you had to have a certain, I can't remember what class it was, and she didn't have it quite yet. And she worked at or with Mike Vincent's office And one of the attorneys there came to me and told me and said, she is a fantastic person. She's smart as a whip and she will be able to do it, and pleaded with me to give an exception to my minimum criteria and let her come along. And I did. And ever since that, I was grateful that I had done that, because she turned out to be just a spectacular intern. And then when she became a lawyer, just a wonderful lawyer.
Administrative law judge, and when my boss called and asked if I were enough, yes, and I have to hire her, she's great. And we haven't done it. So,
All right. If you see her, please tell her I said hello, and that she could like at least call or write to her old professor and judge and just let him know she's doing great. All right. Take care, guys.